Hello, my name is Zahra Ahmed. I am a senior at American University, graduating in May of 2025. I'm pursuing a degree in international service with minors in economics and French, and some of my academic goals after graduation include pursuing those degrees furthermore through work experience. So, whether that means working in international development or economic development through nonprofits, NGOs, or think tanks. I'm looking to get work experience after my graduation and develop my research abilities a bit more before entering graduate school, which I like to do within 5 years. Some of the graduate schools I am considering include the London School of Economics, Georgetown, George Washington, and Johns Hopkins. But again, since that's something that I'm looking to do more so in the long term rather than within 1 to 2 years, that's subject to change. So, a career path in national security and international affairs that I'm interested in is working within both the public and private sector, but more so on the private sector after my graduation. I'm interested in working at particular nonprofits and think tanks, like I said before. Working for the public sector, though, I am definitely interested in doing after a little bit of time after graduation. And that would look like for me working at the IMF or the World Bank. So, some of my research interests include the global economy, so using my micro and macroeconomic policy interests to look at economic development, both in the US and abroad, and looking at how economic development coincides with other interests such as environmental sustainability, global health, food security, and developing research between those interests. I'm also really keen on understanding and researching on rebuilding economic stability after periods of sustained political or social upheaval. My time at the FDA currently as an intern has also shaped some of my understanding of the current topics in economics, and I would love to apply a lens of a world politics research backed approach to some of these economic policy interests. Another interest of mine is doing research on the Middle East and North Africa region as it pertains to issues such as gender identity and social advocacy within the particular political systems of the region. So while I was an intern in Morocco doing my study abroad semester, I learned about the different trajectories of the Arab Spring in North Africa and how it affected systemic change, whether that be to cultural or political systems. I was able to use my French language skills and as well as my studies in French to understand this dynamic a little bit more, which goes into another area of interest for me, which is studying post-conflict identities in French-speaking countries and the trends that arise from that and have arisen, as well as interests in national security and peace and conflict resolution. I'm really interested in developing research abilities in that field as well, and topics looking at deterrence and nuclear warfare within the larger international system, as well as on the smaller scale, is a topic I'm also interested in researching about. I'm also really curious about terrorism and how we define it, or I should say how we don't define it, and how the current US political state will affect our response to conflict abroad and at home. So the reason I'm really interested in the research internship at the IWP is because I know that research is crucial to any sort of fields that I want to go into. And the IWP's ability to shape my understanding of these interdisciplinary studies is something that I feel is unparalleled to other internship opportunities at the moment. Being able to have meaningful connections with staff and program events is something that I'm really keen on doing, and having that resource to refine my research is an opportunity that I'm really excited to have. I believe that there's a degree to which research is built in one's own personal experience and one's own observations of the world around them. And I think that at the IWP, I'm really interested in the hands-on work and experience that I'd get from being in person and talking with professors and staff, and allowing that to transform my ability to intake trends and news about the international system and develop my own ethos as a global citizen, and again, refine my research abilities. Because I think that it's important to not just relay political events, but to understand and shape them through research. So, a project that I'm really proud of working on is my current project at the Food and Drug Administration, which is updating research on the FDA's regulatory impact analysis on drug shortages, which is a report looking back on the retrospective economic effects of medical drug shortages. And in this project, what I'm particularly proud of is being able to use my quantitative economic skills to perform calculations related to the costs and limitations of shortages to medical drugs, and providing this concrete data that economists will use after I'm done with my internship to inform the public on the risks of not having access to their prescription drugs. And the role that that has in influencing public policy is something that I'm really looking forward to see in the future. So given what I know about the IWP, I think I'd be a good fit because I am able to dedicate my time to the program, a program that is very hands-on and relies on this one-to-one connection with professors. As a part-time student in the spring semester, I'm going to have the time to be able to dedicate myself to this program. It's also an institution that is dependent on enthusiasm and the desire to push and learn for oneself. And as I enter my last semester as an undergraduate student, I'm really excited to look ahead at what academics can look like for me after my undergraduate school. And at the IWP, independent thinking and civic virtue are things that are really celebrated. And I find this to be directly aligned with my desire to develop my career in institutions that also seek to challenge the status quo. If I'm hired, I plan to take 4 credits during my internship. In my current semester, I am taking 5 courses, and they account to 16 credits this semester. And I am able to commit 30 to 40 hours a week in person. Thank you.